Let's talk about autism self-diagnosis. Hi, I'm Sean on the Spectrum, and welcome back to another episode. So, what I want to talk about today is something that I've seen that's been quite polarising, bit of a polarising topic amongst the autism community, and that is the subject of self-diagnosis. So, what is self-diagnosis? Well, basically, it's when somebody diagnoses themselves as autistic, in a nutshell, for whatever reason that may be. It could be down to extremely long waiting lists through the healthcare service that they use in their particular country of residence. Also, on that same topic of country of residence, could be well and truly way too expensive to get seen to properly. You know, there's a whole range of different hurdles that people have to jump. So here is a couple of reasons why I honestly think self-diagnosis in autism is valid. Let's dive into it. So the first reason is, like the aforementioned, waiting lists and costs. So for a lot of people who don't have the luxury of free healthcare, the costs involved in terms of being seen to, being assessed, all these appointments that you have to go to can be way too much, which can really cause a huge hurdle in terms of somebody getting an official diagnosis. It's not feasible for a lot of people. I mean, that's the thing with it. It is a very difficult process, and it is very long drawn out. And as I understand, in countries where you have to pay for healthcare of any sort, the more long drawn out it is, like you get charged per appointment and everything. So it is very difficult. Now, over here in the UK, we are lucky to have free healthcare. However, it is quite underfunded. Another little issue that we have in terms of diagnosis as well, which is going to be coming up in a few years, is the fact that funding is going to be cut by the government for autism and things like that, which really isn't good and is only going to create more hurdles in the long term. So, what do we do about that? So, a lot of people who are self-diagnosed will do a lot of their own homework and their own research on the topic of autism, finding out exactly what sort of criteria goes into it, like, you know, whether it's something that they themselves align with, whether it's something that they relate to, you know? In my opinion, like, you're looking at the same criteria that a healthcare professional is looking at when assessing somebody, and only you know yourself better than anybody else. So, in regards to that, I would say that self-diagnosis, as long as done with, you know, bearing in mind a lot of the research and doing your homework about the topic and everything, I would say that a lot of cases are valid. You know? One other thing I want to touch on as well is the fact that there's a lot of people out there who have been diagnosed who are seeing self-diagnosed autistic people as invalid. Now, here's a problem with that I find, okay? There are a lot of people out there who do have a bit of an ableist view towards autistic people, whether it be subtly ableist in terms of, like, you know, our stimming bothering them a little bit, or whether it be, you know, greatly just having a really sour, pissy attitude towards autistic people and other disabled people. It's not a good attitude to have, and it never will be. So before we can really expect neurotypicals to accept the fact that autistic people exist a little bit more, we need to accept it amongst ourselves. See what I mean? And one more thing I would like to touch on as well with this is the fact that self-diagnosis is kind of a gateway to an official diagnosis. I'll tell you what I mean in a second. So, when it comes to self-diagnosis, a lot of, like, research will have gone into it, whether it be self-diagnosed or whether it be, like, you know, an inkling from maybe a family member, a friend, anybody like that can certainly sometimes set the wheels in motion, like for the journey to getting an official diagnosis. From that first moment to the point of official diagnosis, you're kind of self-diagnosed anyway. Now, for people who are on that journey, need we really be invalidating them? Need we really be painting ourselves as an unwelcoming group? There's just no rhyme or reason for us to do that at all. We should really be lending our support. We should really be helping them, being a shoulder to cry on, being somebody that they can gain advice from, about the journey, about what happens next, what happens after diagnosis, things to look out for, ways in which we can cope a little bit better. This is the kind of stuff that we should be saying to them, not telling them that they're invalid at all. It's really messed up when you think about it. So in summary, yes, I do believe that self-diagnosis is valid. However, there are a couple of buts. I feel like if the self-diagnosed autistic person has done their homework and has done their research as to what autism is and feels that that is what they align with, then that is totally fine. I can totally get down with that, and I totally believe that you are valid. So just be mindful. Just before you self-diagnose, make sure that you do your homework. Make sure that you do your research on what autism is. Because if you don't do your homework and you find yourself saying that you're autistic, and then you do your homework and it turns out you don't align with that at all, that could be quite damaging. But if you do your homework before self-diagnosing and everything, I see no reason for anybody to tell you that you're invalid. So anyway, I hope that this helps. I'm Sean on the Spectrum. Please like and subscribe, and hopefully I should get a new video out to you within the week. See you in a bit.